Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome. This is Jineea Butler, your host of the New American. This is your host of the New American Perspective, and we are here. We are live today. We have a wonderful show for you today. And what we have, Ryan, we can hear you talking. We're about to bring you up.
My bad.
So we have a wonderful show today. If you can mute the other mics. We have a wonderful show this afternoon about all the things that are happening in the world. We've got your G-Check. We've got the Super Cousins G-Check today. So we've got everything to talk about. And I'll just bring the guys on. You can bring them up. Welcome, gentlemen. This is my family. It is wonderful to see you both. This is Ryan C. Fresh from out west. And this is A.B. Butler from the East. You know. So welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the New American Perspective today. It is great to see you both. We have a lot of G-checking to do today. So let's just start off right off the bat. Jadakiss. So word on the street is that Jadakiss from the Locks, Yonkers, New York, has
YO
has gone to Jadakiss has gone to private school. He was on the Joe Budden podcast, and he's gone to private school with great people along the way. And now they're saying that Jada is not about that game. What say you? This is a G-check. Let's start with you, AB.
Listen, it ain't got nothing to do what school you went to, what lane you got your mother and father. I had both of my mother and father. I've been did 30 years. It don't matter what parent you got, both of your parents, what school you go to. It is what it is. It's just sad that, you got a lot of guys that bench watch, and now all of a sudden they got a million things to say about somebody, and then half of the time, most of the dudes that say something about them don't know them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Jada's a real dude. It don't matter what school you went to, how many you went to Catholic school, you went to this. You got dudes in Catholic schools. It's straight up killers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can't judge where you growed up at. I grew up in the house. I ain't grew up in the project. So what do that make me? You know what I mean? I've been to jail. So what? Going to jail don't make you a real man, because you got a bunch of dudes in jail on homosexual time out here. You think they the hardest dudes in the world.
Right. What say you, Ryan C. Fresh over there?
Just like AB was saying, the person, the people that are saying that, they just hating, and then again, they all on the nuts. Excuse me, but at the same time, it's gonna be like that forever, man. Once a person is doing something and shining, they're gonna get hated on, and that's just the way this world is. But it don't matter what school he went to. He got his own home. He got his own car. He got his own everything. So whoever that is hating, they need to go look in the mirror and G-check themselves.
Exactly.
And see, what's happening is that so often in our community, we look to people, and when it comes to hip hop, when it comes to everything that's going on, we so often in the community look and say, well, if it's not like this, and if you are not a killer, if you didn't spend 100 years in jail, then you are not official. But since Jadakiss took the title of the top crown when he went against the Dipset in the Versus a couple years ago. When he did that, since then he's held the crown, and now they're trying to take him down because now he's got a coffee business with his dad and his son, and he's doing family stuff. So now they want to tear him down to the very last compound, and it just is not right. Let me tell you a story. I remember growing up. Now, Ryan, he was out on the West, right? And so I remember growing up, and my dad has said, listen, Ryan's dad, which is my dad's brother, right? Ryan's dad is trying to keep him out of trouble, right? So he said that he was getting caught up, him and Kenny, Ryan's brother Kenny, was getting caught up with these dudes out from Long Beach, right? And so they were taking him out of the way, right? They were taking him out of the way because they didn't want to get him caught up. Okay?
Man.
And so what are we saying about parents, that parents are not trying to do that? And then it just so happens to be that those folks happen to be Warren G, Snoop Dogg. So they were trying to get Ryan out the way and make sure that he didn't fall victim to those things. And so why are we penalizing parents that are looking out for them kids? It's great that Jada went to a private school. He went to a regular high school. He went to a public high school, but it kept him out the way. But that's what's also kept Ryan out the way. You understand?
Facts.
You know, and that's a G check.
I
And
grew up on sitting in the living room watching Scooby-Doo on Channel 2, one of them TVs that you had to turn with the little, you might have had to use some pliers. Yeah, the pliers, and put the little tinfoil on the antenna, you know what I'm saying, to make it crack, and then you had the angle, and somebody be like, all right, keep it right there, and then you'd be like, I ain't gonna stay right here for it to, but sitting in that living room with drive-bys, dope dealers, gang bangers every day, just peer pressure, just to walk to school, come back home from school, just to hang out on your front porch. And it got bad to where my mom was like, you know what? You're getting ready to go stay with your dad. And she moved me all the way to Torrance. Mm-hmm. When I got there, I was like, what the hell is, like, 'cause I'm looking for 6'4" Impalas, and the dope dealers on the block and shooting me money for looking out for them, and ain't get none of that. It was suburban, and they was just looking at me like, who is you, Mr. Black Man? And it is what it is. But at the end of the day, my mom did that so I would not fall as one of these guys out in the hood, and be part of a gang and be drug dealing and get locked up in jail or get killed. And she seen that, and she moved me up out of there.
But you know what it is, cuz it's so sad, and it's only in our community where we just keep hating on each other over and over again. Soon as somebody get a bigger check, here come the haters. They sit there and hate. They ain't got nothing better else to do. And then the ones that's hating, if you really sit down with them, why did y'all, the ones that came out there, why did y'all wait so long and say Jada this and Jada that? And he been in the game for a minute and you don't hear it because
25 plus years.
Yeah, now you hear, oh, he ain't this, he ain't that. Well, it just show you how small-minded people are. They ain't got nothing else better to do because they sitting around watching him growing, ain't saying, yo, how can I get down? Have patience. These dudes the way this world is now, these dudes don't have no kind of patience. And they think everybody's supposed to get them something because they feel that they this and they that.
And that's a G check, and we're gonna go with that. So my thing out here is leave Jada alone. Y'all all suckers for trying to run on him and trying to say that he's not official because he's stand the test of time. And now y'all trying to take him out and trying to make him tell on himself because y'all in the day and age of telling on himself. Jada's official. This is a G check. You heard it right here with the Butler gang. All right.
Right.
So,
and he'll see you in the gym too. I see his gym workout with the
he's all
bartenders to pull up.
bartender too. So
Yeah, come
he
on,
did his
man.
work.
Stop
He
playing with
did
him.
his
Yeah,
work.
you would have. He'd be in the suburbs to jump back on your ass in the gym.
Yeah,
Right,
let me say this before we G check out of here. What make these dudes official? You know what I mean? Because you grow up in the hood, that don't make you official. If you're a smart dude, it don't matter where you come. If I can live my life all over, I'd rather be that nerd.
Oh, talk about
that's a message. That's a
Talk
G check
about
message.
That's a G check. I'd rather be that nerd. So let's get into
because they the
something real
new
quick.
gangsters.
Exactly.
They the
Excuse
one
me,
got your
gentlemen.
girl.
I think that I would qualify as a nerd. I think I would qualify as a Butler nerd, gentlemen. Okay. Yeah. So
G-check.
now look, that's a G check. So now look, let's talk about this really quick. We've got about a couple more minutes before we go to our break. But let's talk about this really quick. Let's talk about the fact that China, now you know President Trump put 145% tariff on China, right? We get a lot of goods from China across the board. Now China is kicking back and China is saying, you know what? You can buy your pocketbooks. Now, this is for y'all ladies out there. They're saying you could buy your pocketbooks. You could buy your Louis Vuitton. You could buy all your brand name luxuries straight from us because they get it manufactured from us. So China is G-checking the whole industry. So the people that are paying $10,000 plus for a handbag, right? China is now saying that, hey, we make these bags. They're the same bags that you guys call fake that say made in China. They take them over to their place, put made in France on it, made in the USA, package it real right, and make it look good. Talk to me, gentlemen.
Listen, first of all, I don't carry bags, so it don't matter to me
That's
where they
another
make
thing
it
we
at.
need to G-check is these men out here wearing these designer bags too.
Yeah, you know
It's
what I mean?
all flamboyant. It's a
That's
lot of
all it is.
flamboyant going on, but it's all good. It's to each
But
his
the
own.
ladies love it, and so they want you to to tell them that they love them. And act a term of endearment is to give a lady a $10,000 Chanel bag. And so now you find out that these bags are not even real to begin with. What do you say about that?
Let me say this. You know, if it take $10,000 to make a woman say that she love you, you already know she's a trick. You know what I mean?
Wait, hold on.
That's a G
I
check.
damn near, I damn near went upside down on that one.
Yeah.
Inside out.
Out.
You know what I mean? Ooh, she got me inside out. Come on now.
But
Exactly. If it takes 10, what?
yeah,
Man, go home.
that's the dudes.
Go
That's the
home.
dudes that don't have
Cook
no
some good
conversation.
dinner.
I got to buy you a
Hey,
bag
hey,
to show you my
hey, check
love.
this out.
That means you ain't there.
Check this out. Let me just G-check the youngsters one time. You go home. If you there first, you straighten up. You might, if you don't know how to do laundry, then don't do the laundry. But if you do, make it happen. Boom, fold, boom. Have some dinner ready. At the same time, when she come home, you just putting something on the table. Bam. Then when she eating, you rubbing the feet. Oh, baby, we'll look in the bathroom. Bubble bath. Boop. Might have a little some wine Merlot on the side of the bathtub and get that cracking with the sponge. I can't tell you the rest, but a G
Is
check.
that how you do it? I think that was a
Stop
G check. I
playing.
think we gotta
Stop
look out for
playing.
that. I
And
think
that's
that was a
simple. And
G check.
that was a simple layout.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
simple little layout.
So
That was
so
it.
should people be mad? Should these women be mad? Should they be looking to sue to these designers about these bags that China is now saying that you could buy it directly from us? Everything that
Why
you get
not?
is the
Why
same
not? They
thing.
doing it. They doing it. It's at the end of the day. everybody know it don't matter what bag it is, what shirt, what pants, whatever. It's made overseas.
Right.
So at the
Right.
end of the day, we play these mind games saying, okay, I'm going to Gucci store. I'm buy all this high end stuff for what? You buying stuff where you wasting money. Cause at the end of the day, you go take it back, you can't get the money that you spent.
It's a big con.
Yeah,
Well, look,
that's what
so we're
It's,
gonna take
it's
a
the
break
big
you
real
want to
quick.
buy
con.
We're
your
gonna
back in the
come back
game shirt and
with
a
the
hat.
Butler game. We back in the game. We out west. We're gonna come back really quick with the Butler gang, and we're gonna talk about Floyd Mayweather. We're gonna talk about so much more here on the New American Perspective. And this is your weekly G check. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Holla.
And we are back. I am here, ladies and gentlemen, with the Butler Gang on your New American Perspective, here on the G Check with Ryan C. Fresh out from the West, AB Butler out from the East,
Yes,
back in
yes,
the
yes,
game
yes, yes.
entertainment. We're here, we're talking about it, we're making it go. So, have you both heard about what's happening with Floyd Mayweather? Now, Floyd Mayweather been throwing money all over the place, and he been doing his stuff, and he's on the West, Ryan. He's on the West. And so he's been talking, he's a Las Vegas native. He's been talking about that he came into New York, that he bought 60 buildings in New York, and then now we're finding out that Floyd may be bankrupt and he may be playing the whole game. What say you both on that?
Too
Go ahead,
much
AB.
tricking. Too much tricking. You know what I mean? And once at the end of the day, he box, and then at the end of the day, it's like we do all of this to prove something to the outsiders. You get where I'm coming from? When
Mm-hmm.
you getting all this money and you going in here buying this and buying that, you got to, we got to come to a point where we got to know who we are first, yourself, where you don't have to always got to shine, spin this, and prove something to the clowns around you or their friends around you. At the end of the day, this is wrong with a lot of entertainers where they got nothing but yes mans around them. They don't have people to tell them, man, you need to do this the correct way. That's wasting this money. Most time when you're around dudes like that, you're afraid to tell them because because you're working with them, they gonna fire you. So what? At the end of the day, they'll think about it like, yo, that was a true friend because he told me right.
And that's what it looks like on his side, is that something is definitely happening. He just boxed, I think it was Logan Paul that he just boxed, so he got a little kitty from that. And so now they're saying that this might have been a deal gone wrong in New York City, saying that he's buying all these buildings. What you talking about with it, Ryan?
Uh, it got to do with a lot of tricking, but at the same time, uh, I just
We can't hear you.
I can't say nothing else.
Yeah,
Hold on, hold
but
on, hold on. Uh oh.
where it come from. Having bad people around you telling you what to spend on is not good for you. You know what I mean? Because if you bought
Right.
10 billions in New York City, that's money coming in. You get where I'm coming from? You got to put the right people in there. So you might not have the right people in your
Can
building.
y'all hear me? Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, AB.
I
I
say you
got
might
you.
not have the
Go ahead,
right
AB.
people in this corner because at the end of the day, if you got 10 billions, that means money coming in every month.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Right.
really not losing. So
Well, it was weird because he was saying that he spent $300 million, and even my billionaire real estate investment friend, he doesn't spend money on his own like that. He goes and gets loans, he goes and gets all these things. So it was weird how he said that he got this money. But we're gonna go ahead and G-check Floyd on that and say we got to check your G on this, Floyd. Now 50 Cent told us about him though. 50 Cent did say that Floyd was a little off with it, but I'm going to stay with Floyd. And if Floyd, if you need some help, holla at the Butler gang, and we'll see what we could do out here on these New York streets if something happened, right? And so I don't know what that is. And
you
I don't know
blowing
what
up.
that
You
was in my
blowing up.
background.
Floyd, you got Floyd. Floyd got you blowing up when you
Okay,
saying
you
Butler
blowing up
gang.
like you thought
We
you
checking
should.
them. I don't know what that was in my background. But, and shout out to 50 Cent because 50 Cent just closed the deal out in Shreveport, Louisiana for G Unit Films and Studio out there. And I think he's got, maybe 100-year contract out there. So G Unit Films and Studio will be out there long after we all are gone. So shout out to 50 Cent for making it work out there in Shreveport. That is a G check. We look forward to his Roku station taking off and doing his thing, and and him putting more people to work. You've seen Floyd Mayweather run behind Big Meech in the whole situation and jump behind Big Meech behind 50. But shout out to 50 Cent because he's doing real big things out there in Shreveport, and we've got to support those of us who are taking the next toll on what's next. Okay, so before we go to our last break, let's talk about your boy Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith needs a real G check right now because Stephen A. is talking about running for president of the United States. So Stephen A. has got $100 million. He's got $100 million from ESPN. And so now he's feeling himself, and now he thinks that he can now go and run for president in 2028. What say both of y'all?
Well, I'm gonna say this: if Donald Trump could run for president, why not Stephen A. Smith? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a G check. That's a G check.
It's no, it's right now. The board is open. You could run for president, cuz
Well, no
Right,
doubt,
me and
no doubt.
Ryan, we
right.
all can run right now. You know what I
For
mean?
real.
It's just that it's like it's nothing no more. You know what I mean? It can't be like, oh, this person. We could run for mayors in different cities right now. It's just we just gotta put our mind to it and do it. If we got the people to back us, we could run for president, vice president.
Are you voting for Stephen A. though?
Is I'm voting?
Yeah, for Stephen A.
I'm a convict, so I don't do no voting.
No. We can get you your voting rights back now.
Okay, well, get it back. Get it back.
Are you
You know what I mean?
voting for Stephen A. once we get them voting rights back?
Yeah, I'll vote for him. I like the way he talk.
See, Fresh, what say you?
Okay, look. He black, but at the end of the day,
It don't matter.
it don't matter
It
because
don't
his
matter.
ass, he all over the place. He a little messy,
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
he a little messy
G-check.
at times, and I get where he's
Trump messy
he's
Trump
yeah
messy too.
because controversy is gonna sell, so that's what and he been doing that for years. So it's just like if he changes up, people be like, well, damn, he ain't talking about somebody, but it gets messy.
But that's what sell. That's what we
But that's
doing
what
right now.
sells,
We
though.
doing exactly what he doing. So it's no
Yep.
different. You know what I
But
mean?
Yeah.
we're
So
not
like next year, after 4 years, we can run for president.
Exactly.
100%. That's something in my future that I'm definitely going to be looking for. I just need a little time so I could be 100% right so Butler Gang can get in there.
That G check.
But Stephen A, to me, he doesn't fit the bill because he's playing the game. He just played Democrat, Republican. Now he's an independent, and now he want to run for president because he's trying to get out of his spectrum where he's, I'm not mad at him because he's hustling hard, and I'm learning some things for him about how he's, taking stuff. But he's jumping out of the sports world. This is my problem with him, AB. He's jumping out of the sports world. You got Charles Barkley, you got everybody. He's jumping
you're
out
exploding.
of
Look
the
at
sports
it.
world. Yeah, exactly. There I go again. I don't know where that's coming from. But he's jumping out of the sports world and he's getting into politics. Where are you coming from with the politics? You was just confronted by LeBron James. LeBron James just sunned you, and then now you over here talking about you want to run for president. And Charles Barkley, let me say, G-checked him and say, listen, Stephen A. my man and everything, but not for president. So we got to see what's happening with that. Keep your eye on Stephen A. I keep telling everybody, keep your eye on him because he's up to something, and he's up to something really
people do and people do stunts, you know what I mean, to get themselves up there, right? Which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean?
That's true.
But at the end of the day, like what do people look at you like? Like, you know what I mean? Like what do they look at you like? You went here, then you went over there, then you went back over there, then you came right here, then you said, no, I'm about to go over here. Wait a minute. Sit down. Be humble.
He's the rubber band man. You know what I mean?
Well, you heard
G-check.
The split on this G-check here with the Stephen A. We're all over the place. We all feel some type of way. We might be 2-1 on the back in the game over here, but we gotta G-check him. We're gonna be watching you, Stephen A. So next up, let me bring up a goodie but oldie. Wendy Williams, okay, is out here trying to get her guardianship released. Okay, Wendy Williams is actively I don't know, I'm going crazy over here. Wendy Williams is actively trying to get her guardianship released. She went back to court, and the judge said that her career is over. So the judge told her right in court, your career is over. Get over it. This is where you're at. You need the guardianship over you. We're not doing anything. Have a nice day. Then she told her niece, the one that we're hearing on the phone calls and everything like that, she told her niece, listen, she's on a gag order. So everything that you're saying and talking about in the press is no good, because if you notice, there's been a serious groundswell around Wendy going the Free Wendy campaign. What say you both?
She barked up the wrong trees.
G-check.
She's been barking up the wrong trees, and it just backfired. I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah.
Did my guy Diddy have something to do with the shutdown?
I think a lot of people probably had something to do with it. I think they all put in on her because all of a sudden she went down. Remember, she had on the she had on the Statue of Liberty uniform on one of her shows, and then she just started shaking and hit the deck, and she hasn't been right since. You know?
Listen, that come from having the wrong people around you. You know what I mean? And it's like sometimes people around you, because you set your star in their eyes, but at the end of the day, you got to have the right people around you that care about who you are more than the celebrity side. You know where I'm coming from?
Right.
So, it's like at the end of the day, it's like that was her job. And I tell people, you really can't get mad at how she handled things, because somebody gave her that message. She just had the platform. It's just like somebody give us the message. We got the platform. So you can't get mad at us when things is just dropping on our laps.
You know, and we got to think about it. I know the last time that I'd seen her write was when she went on and she told everybody that she gave Method Man a bath and she was getting at Method Man's wife and all this kind of stuff. And Method Man's wife said, "You are no good, dirty." And then all of a sudden, you know, we ain't see Wendy Wright no more, you know. So I don't know if that's karma. I don't know how that comes, but you know,
I think
it's the demon.
I think if it wasn't a bad bag, what I mean is everybody has something that they need in the day to get through their day. Right. Whether it be a cigarette, whether it be a shot of a drink, whether it be playing with your nose or a shot or, you know, something, you know, smoke or something, you know, anything to get your day through, go through that day. And I'm just thinking it was a bad bag and it just totally whoop whoop.
And then on top of that, you gotta remember, if it was a bad bag or bag of weed or whatever in the drink, whatever, it's some people around it. You know what I mean? You gotta remember this. You got to go back to when you're dealing with these artists. You got to look at these artists like they're your kids. You got to take care of them. You know what I mean? Some people get around and get lost on what you're there for. Right. So if I'm there to make sure you good and protect you, that's my job, to make sure that people come around, because you got to remember, when you get to a status, that's when the ghosts, the wolves, everything come at you. So you got to find somebody that's not on none of that time where they can't get to penetrate. And then you be straight. You know what I mean? I've been around a bunch of them. They can't penetrate me. You know what I mean? Because I'm not the yes man type. So at the end of the day, I'm going to keep it 100 with you, even though you might not like it. But I'm going to tell you what it is. You get where I'm coming from? So you got to have people around you.
Blood in you. You know
you got to have that.
Blood.
You got to have that in you. You know what I mean? And most people, they get caught up on the fame and the money, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for social media, it wasn't for none of this, they'd be lost.
Right.
Yeah, being a leader for sure. I didn't lost a gang of friends, but that's okay, because them ain't the ones.
We all.
You know?
So we're gonna go to a break really quick. We're gonna go to a break and we're gonna come back with the Butler Gang. You guys still got a little bit of time for me?
Yeah, we got it for you guys.
Yeah.
We're going to come back with the Butler Gang. We're going to talk about some other stuff happening here in the United States, and the tariffs and Donald Trump and Passover and everything. So we'll be right back here on the New American Perspective with the Butler Gang and the G-Check.
Boom.
G-Check.
Hello viewers, you are watching Millennium News 24. America and global villages seen America independence built by immigrants, manufacturers, roads, highways, educations, healthcare, IT, scientists, space, business development to all thousands of multimedia and all major social media platforms and news network in America. Millennium News 24, one of truthfully news networks in America and global news organizations. Please watch, follow and subscribe. We are in iOS and Android devices, Roku, Amazon, Apple devices, all smart TV, globally Horizon satellite, social media Millennium News 24, Millennium TV 24. Website www.millenniumnews24.com and www.millenniumtv24.com. Thank you.
And we are back here on the G-Check. This is your New American Perspective. This is Jineea Butler. That's Ryan Butler. And that's A.B. Butler. And we are the Butler Gang with your G Check here on Millennium News 24. We've been having a great day today talking about everything United States, everything that's going on, G checking everything that's happening. So, fellas, let's get right into this. Governor Shapiro, which is the governor of Pennsylvania, he had a run-in with somebody over the weekend. So Passover, which we know the Jewish people are now practicing from now until after Easter, well, until Easter or maybe Saturday. I'm not sure exactly which day, but they practice Passover. And so they have dinner every night. So Governor Shapiro put on social media that he was having a dinner at the governor's mansion with his family, and a young man named Cody Balmer, he's 38, he threw a Molotov cocktail into the house and damn near burned the whole house down while the governor and his family were in there at 2 in the morning. And so what goes to say that religion in this country is something else. And so now the governor stepped up and said, listen, we cannot have this going on. And so when we talk about the Jewish people in America, we talk about everything that's going on. We hear what's going on. We're not the type of people that go against this. But what do you feel about, this man says, oh, I'm going to go against the Jews right now. We know the fight in America is about the Jewish people. Now on Columbia University, the young man is being deported out of Columbia University. So this may have been a hate crime. This may be all of that kind of stuff. But what is our G check here, gentlemen? When we're talking about Passover, we're talking about a religious time in most people's life. How do you guys feel about that?
Let me say this. Religion is like war. You know what I mean? No matter what, dealing with religion, it's always a beef. My thing is, once again, I say this over and over again, we got to take religion, color out this system where we got to be human beings. You know where I'm coming from? Because if it don't, it's always dealing with religion. It's like separations. It's always separations when you talk about religions. So it's like at the end of the day, we got to learn to respect one another. We got to put the respect back in the world, because there's no respect for nobody. It don't matter what religion, what culture, what color you are. It's no respect. That should be religion, respect.
Real for real.
What say you, see fresh?
That's a G check.
It's for real a G check, because it is a big war. It's a gathering of people separating themselves and having their own, to each his own. But at the end of the day, it's a big war, because you got you believing this, and then you got this person over here believing this, and just it could be, y'all could be living in the same house,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and y'all going back and forth about it. Here go the war, you know, to where at the end of the day, it just needed to be human beings. We all
And
one,
mm-hmm.
you know, and it just is this a sad situation that we live in, and
We can make America, we can make the world a better place if we just
just
get
make it
off.
one. Just make
Yeah,
it
we just
one.
make it one and it be respectfully. You know what I mean? It's like
Period.
that's all it is. You ain't got to say a million things about it.
Yep.
It's one word, respect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the
100%.
That's
biggest
it.
G check. Respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so let me go into that. And so you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. That is a G check. Let's respect all, and respect to all those celebrating Passover this week, all those who'll be celebrating Easter this week, and whatever religion and whoever that you pray to, respect to those who celebrated Ramadan a month ago. And what people got to realize, I've always realized, is these religions are so very close. They're overlapping each other, right? So everybody is praying at the same time. So I always felt that there was something in that. Now, the Passover religion, for those don't know, in the Bible, there's a story about when the people said, mark an X on the top of your house, and when the whirlwind comes, it's going to pass over. So all the Jewish people stay in their houses during that time as for the Passover. So they stay in their houses eating, telling
Their
stories,
religion.
the master bread and everything like that during that time. So it's a sacred time to them. So for this man to now he was denied bail, Corey Balmer in Harrisburg. He was denied bail. He said that he had disdain for the governor, and so they've got him, and he's going to serve a lot of time. He looked like he was, up to no good. They said that he didn't really have a lot going on, but he did that, which is well enough to upset and try to make a mark like that. Like during the Passover, your house wasn't passed over. That was, I believe, what he was trying to say with it, but it was a horrible thing. And shout goes out to Governor Shapiro and his family. And here's the good thing about this is that the FBI director, Kash Patel, reached out, who normally the Trump team and the Democrats, which Governor Shapiro is a Democrat, he reached out to him and he said that he's going to mobilize all of his power to make sure that nothing like this happens again. So it did bring people together. So AB, you are correct. It did bring people together, and that's what needs to happen, because it brought some things together that weren't happening as we go. Okay, so I'm sure that you both heard about the helicopter crash in New York, right? And so this agency that had the helicopter crash, they are shut down going forward. They are shut down, and they cannot operate after 6 people were killed in this helicopter crash. And so it was a gentleman and his family that he brought on by way of another state and said, hey, we're still out here in the United States. I want to take my family to see New York. Helicopter crash in the Hudson, and now they are no longer here with us. Now you know the Hudson River, it crashed right where the guy had saved people on the Hudson River, but the I don't know if you've seen the horrible visual of the helicopter going down. They did not have a chance, and the helicopter went down, lost control, and we lost those wonderful people here in New York and the Hudson River. And New York has to mourn that loss and also look at that this is an excursion in New York that people can ride the helicopters. What do you think about that? What's the G check on that?
G check on that. They even with the planes that's falling out of the sky and this and that, they got to check all these planes, service these planes, the helicopters, and make sure that it's safe. Because like the lady said, it could have that could have fell out in the sky downtown in 42nd Street. You know what I mean? It's like it's so much that we want to enjoy rides and go here and there, but we got to make sure the key thing is safety. Mm-hmm. That's first. You got to check and make sure everything is up to par.
Well, this helicopter company, they didn't have any fatal crashes before, but they may have had some instances where it was a little shaky in it. But I'll do a lot of stuff, okay? But I'm not doing a helicopter ride going over the Hudson and looking over New York. Maybe because I've seen New York enough, but that's not one of the rides that I want to take. And now they have helicopter rides that'll take you from the city to the Hamptons, and they also, you know, we got to work on that too, because, you know, like you said, that could crash in New York City. Usually a lot of planes try to take the route of the water, but when you go from New York City to Long Island, I think you're going across and they're saying, oh, this is a quick way to Long Island. You don't have to take your 3 hours to get over there. Just get on this helicopter ride, and it takes about an hour, a half hour to get over there.
Yeah, ain't no traffic in the air.
No traffic in the air. But we seen what happened with rest in peace Kobe Bryant and his
Yeah,
people trying to
yeah.
get, you know, through the traffic in LA, and, you know, helicopter crash again. So we
But a
have to
lot.
all relive that whole thought, and rest in peace to Kobe Bryant and his daughter
The
Gigi.
whole everybody was on that flight. You know what I mean? You know, it ain't just
Yeah.
Kobe. You know, it's just a sad situation where somebody else's family got to suffer for the greed of New York City.
And then, so
The
we're going to
greed.
talk about that. We're going to go to a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about that greed in New York City. We're going to talk about this mayor run, Mayor Cuomo, Mayor Adams, what Mayor Adams is out here doing, what I think he's up to. We're going to G-check them when we come back. We'll be right back on the New American Perspective. This is the Butler Gang with the G-check, the New American Perspective here on Millennium News 24. We'll be right back.
Boom.
And we are back. I am here with my co-host, A.B. Butler. Ryan Butler had to do what's on the West, and he will be back with us next week. And
I like the commercials. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I ain't never
you
seen
like
in your
that? You like
commercials.
that?
I
You
ain't
like
never
what
seen
we
me
got
up there.
going on?
The G Check, a co-host.
It's called a G-check. You understand? So let's talk about New York City while we're in New York City, okay? So Mayor Adams went to the Dominican Republic, I believe last week, to give his condolences to the people that died in the nightclub in the Dominican Republic. There was one former Yankee member in there that's from the Dominican Republic, and he passed away when the nightclub collapsed on a bunch of people in the Dominican Republic. So Mayor Adams decides that he needs to go over there to give his condolences. Now, this is in the middle of an election. He's got a June primary. Now, he's got a June primary coming up, but he's running as an independent. So what do you think about that? Why I think Mayor Adams went over there to get the Dominican population, because you need the Hispanic population behind you. But what do you think?
Listen, pimping ain't easy.
But
Somebody
it
got to
sure
do it.
is fun.
You know what I mean? It's just, there's a lot of Dominicans over here, probably support him. He went over there and showed the love. It's like, there's nothing wrong going to other countries showing love. You know what I mean? It just showed that we, like I said, once again, we got to respect one another, not look at it because it's in DR, this and that. It's like we as one, we just keep separating ourselves. We got to change the motivation of people and just say, it happened because at the end of the day, it's people that is from Dominican but live in New York. So it's like he went over there to show love. You know what I mean? We all one. We acting like we not, but we all one. You know what I mean? It's just another country, but it's just we just got to fix it and make it better.
Okay, so you don't think there was no extra motive in there for Mayor Adams going over there, and the
I'm
fact that
saying
he's
it's like
behind in the polls?
he wanted some sun. He wanted to see the bad bras. You know what I mean? So you gonna do all three in one. You know what I mean? You gonna go there, have a little fun, catch a little sun, and see something nice over there. You know what I mean? And come back in the cold weather and start all over again. That's all it is.
Okay, I will
He's a
go with
man.
shout out to Mayor Adams. This is a
Yeah,
G
he's a
check. We
man.
see you. We are on your back. Now, Governor Cuomo. So Governor Cuomo, he's got two more unions that are backing him up. And so he's the front runner right now. So
Mhm.
people talked about how, he had put people into his how he talked about he put people into the nursing homes, COVID patients into the nursing homes, which helped the demise of many elderly people in New York. And
Mhm.
also he stepped down as governor because of sexual assault allegations. And so now
Mhm.
Governor Cuomo is running for mayor of New York, and it seems like the people don't care. So this is a governor check. This is a G check. It looks like he may have it smooth sailing.
Yeah, but listen, you know what they say? Out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? People, they jump on a bandwagon for that moment, that second, that hour, and we gonna do this, we gonna do that. You know what I mean? And then because at the end of the day, I don't care what position I'm in. If I ain't do nothing, I'm not stepping down for no one. You know what I mean? And this the problem I have with all of this politic thing. If you ain't do nothing wrong, why step down? Stand. You call yourself a man. You're a man. So at the end of the day, we gonna always get accused on things. You see every day. Everybody get on social media, talk about somebody don't really know them. They just going on the he say, she say, this, that, this and that, this and that, this and that. But at the end of the day, then give them like 30 days or a month, just say 60 days. They forget.
Yeah, longer than that. I mean, shorter than that, because now, people are forgetting that Governor Cuomo was under all this arrest and they forced him to step down. Now, but
Yeah,
when you say that, they tried to force Mayor Adams to step down. He said, no way,
because
Jose.
he stepped because he showed. That's why you got to respect him. He showed the world he's a man. It don't matter. I went and had a conversation with Trump. It don't matter. You know what I mean? Y'all not forcing me out my building. And that's what the problem is with these dudes in these industry, where they feel that, oh, I'm this, I'm that. I can say this, I can say that. I'm gonna force you out there. Nah, it don't work that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody got opinion.
This
So
is
at the end
true.
of the day, if you weak enough to fall for it, then that's what happened. If you
Well,
strong and you say,
people say, sometimes you should step down for that of the people. Now,
nah,
Mayor
people,
Adams, I take it off to him because I covered him here on the New American Perspective the whole time. But Mayor Adams said, no, I'm not stepping down. I'm not going there.
exactly.
But now a lot of his people, okay, are under indictments. They may be going to jail, all the people. So sometimes I think that the leader should be a leader. Now, if you didn't got all the people that I didn't hire, okay, all the people that I didn't said was top notch, and everybody but me is still standing. Everybody else resigned and everybody else got out the way, and I'm still standing. I don't know about that. We might have to check his G on that, because what about all the people that were standing with you?
But you got to remember, you know what I mean? It's like you could say you got this on me, you could say, but prove it. You know what I mean? This saying is more powerful than proving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
And then,
understand?
well, he's still in there. He's running as an independent now. And so
Hmm.
what that means is that, instead of him getting knocked out because he saw that his numbers weren't right for the June primary. So, and instead of him getting knocked out in June and not be able to run in November, he signed up as an independent, and then from the independent, now he will be able to run in November. So it will be him, Curtis Sewa, and Governor Cuomo. Curtis Sewa is the Republican candidate. The Guardian Angel. I'm sure you know the Guardian Angels. So he ran the Guardian Angels for years. So we've got him, Sewa, and Governor Cuomo as the mayor candidates. That looks like, after we'll see in June if they all make their primaries. And then so Mayor Adams is saying, I don't know why we're talking about this. I did everything that I needed to do. And he doesn't know that it was kind of like a rough and rocky road. So people are not necessarily feeling him. And then Governor Cuomo, he's always been, the stylish fly dude. I seen former borough president Ruben Diaz was running with him, and Ruben Diaz has jumped behind Cuomo to get the next best up. So we'll see what happens with that.
Exactly. We just wait and see. You know what I mean? It's just, you gotta remember, politics is tennis. That's what I call it, tennis.
So let's talk
you know what?
a little.
I call it pickleball. You know what I mean? Tennis. Politics is pickleball.
I never played pickleball before.
So just sit down at a politics meeting, then you'll get pickleball. You know what I mean? It's no different than tennis.
I never played. I don't understand what they're saying when they're saying pickleball. I know you got that little thing, and I didn't get that one. But okay, so let's talk for our last 5 minutes about President Trump and what he's doing with the migrants and what's happening in New York City with the migrants. So they opened up a whole new plan in New York City to get the rest of the migrants out of New York, $250,000. They put together an exit plan for New York where they can get, I think, let me see how many more migrants. They put the $250,000 up, and they said, we're going to get the next exit plan out for migrants who want to leave New York because they have no place to stay. They're going to clean out the thing. ICE is now on Rikers Island. So New York is not the place for migrants. But there is a gentleman that was mistakenly picked up by President Trump and Pam Bondi and the crew, and the ICE crew. They was mistakenly picked up and sent to El Salvador. Okay. And so now he's sent to El Salvador, and they're saying, listen, we're not worried about him coming back. He's not an American citizen. We talked last week about due process. We talked last week about, now this man, he hasn't been convicted of any crimes in United States, hasn't been convicted of any crimes in El Salvador, but he's not a United States citizen. He's here in the country illegally. They sent him with the crew of, they said gangs, and now they're saying, bring him back. Trump is saying, okay, if we bring him back, El Salvador got to let him back. Trump was with the El Salvador president. The El Salvador president said, no, I'm not going to send him back. He's making deals with Trump. So what say you? What is the G-check here that we could look at? And should this man be allowed back into the United States when he's an illegal immigrant?
How about a bunch of dudes they locked up for nothing and they sent them back? They not letting them come back in the country. Send them back to Jamaica. They send them back to whatever. But at the end of the day, we go through that every day. Black people lock us up.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, what they doing for us? You know what I mean? They talking about they want to get rid of the immigrants. At the end of the day, once they get rid of them, what they gonna do for the black people? Try to get us out of here next?
Well, we've got to come up with our plan, and we've got to come up with it quick, because after they do that, then they have no more, ICE has no more issues. So Donald Trump, while you say that, Donald Trump was talking about sending the worst criminals in the United States to places like El Salvador and helping them fill up their prisons and getting out of here. So it looks like Trump is going for, I mean, and we only got 4 years under this Trump regime. So it looks like Trump is going for a crime-free America. So we have to look at how we're making moves. We need to focus on making money and not getting caught up in this American system, in this American justice system with this administration going forward, because we are in trouble.
No, we've been in trouble. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, let's say this: we got to, young people, we got to stop killing each other. First of all, over nothing. You know what I mean? It's like most of these killings is over nothing. You know what I mean? And I say this, with a heart. You know what I mean? These females out here worth killing. You know what I mean? And then you got these females out here keep the killing going because they feel, oh, my brother this, my man this, and then by the time homies y'all go to jail, guess who she with? Your man. So at the end of the day, bruh, like I say, once again, shout out to Jadakiss. It don't matter where he went, where he grew up at. Listen, I'd rather be that nerd and could live it all over. I would love to be the nerd again. You know what I mean? So it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Look what's going on. It's if we sit back, and most dudes, they don't think. They can't think for themselves. You know what I mean? They think with their emotional. So at the end of the day, if you think about it, once you get locked up, you lose everything. Then when you out here, you don't respect the people around you. So when you get in there, who do you got to call on? You don't have no friends, because when you out here, you feel that you this, you that. You can shit on this person, talk bad about this person, do what you want, but you ain't got nobody to call on. You need things. Then you go back in, and I tell dudes this, man, learn how to respect your mother, your father.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, those are the last two people that you got in your life that no matter what you go through is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And that is our show for the day, ladies and gentlemen. So we had a full hour of the New American and G Check with the Butler gang, me and A.B. Butler ending up with the show, and with the great words of wisdom from the great legendary A.B. Butler, back in the game entertainment. He's back in the game, ladies and gentlemen. He's with us on Millennium News 24 here, and we will see you next week on the G Check, on the New American Perspective, and we'll be happy to see you. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next week. This is a G Check.